Hi, and welcome to Designing for Scale and Success, developing a standard course shell template for a fully asynchronous graduate program. My name is Katherine Aquino, and I'm here along with my colleagues.
I am Patricia Mujica.
Hi, I'm Anne Rudnicki.
Hi, I'm Lauren Burbank.
And thank you for joining us today. Today, we will share a case narrative focused on the launch of a fully asynchronous graduate track within an existing Master of Biomedical Sciences program. Rather than presenting purely a theoretical framework, this session is grounded in real institutional implementation, one that involved academic leadership, instructional designers, and institutional governance working together to build a scalable and sustainable online learning environment. Our primary focus is on scalable course design, specifically how the development of a standardized course shell template helped us create consistency across courses while also supporting student success and faculty efficiency. As many institutions expand their online offerings, one of the most common challenges is variability. Students often encounter different navigation structures, different expectations, and different levels of clarity from course to course. This variability can create unnecessary barriers to learning. This initiative emerged within the context of expanding an existing, well-established, in-person Master of Biomedical Sciences program. The goal was not simply to put existing courses online, but to intentionally design an online track that would maintain academic rigor while supporting students who may never physically come to campus. Throughout this presentation, we will walk through our institutional context, the design challenges we encountered, the collaborative process we developed, and the specific components of a standardized course shell. We will also share lessons learned that may be applicable to others launching or expanding asynchronous graduate programs. Ultimately, this work reflects a broader shift from thinking about individual courses as isolated units to thinking about the student experience as a coherent, program-level design challenge. To understand this initiative, it's important to first understand the academic environment in which this program exists. The Masters of Biomedical Sciences program is housed within the School of Graduate Studies Biomedical and Health Sciences unit. This school supports graduate education across multiple biomedical disciplines and operates within a large, complex, multi-campus academic system. Historically, the Master of Biomedical Sciences program has been offered as primarily in-person program, serving students preparing for careers in medicine, research, and other health-related professions. The program has a strong academic reputation and has served as an important pathway for students seeking advanced biomedical training. However, as with many graduate programs nationally, we began to see the shift in student needs and expectations. Increasingly, prospective students were seeking flexible graduate options that would allow them to balance education with employment, caregiver responsibilities, and geographic limitations. At the same time, institutional leadership recognized the importance of expanding online graduate education as a part of broader strategic priorities. Online programs offer opportunities to expand access, increase enrollment capacity, and reach students who might not otherwise be able to participate. This placed our program at an important moment of transition. We were not only creating a new program from scratch, we were extending an established academic program into a fully asynchronous online environment. This distinction is important because it required preserving academic integrity and rigor while adapting to an entirely different instructional modality. This created both an opportunity and a responsibility to design intentionally. The decision to expand into a fully asynchronous online track was driven by several converging factors. First, there was a clear and growing demand for access and flexibility. Many prospective graduate students today are working professionals, career changers, or individuals balancing multiple responsibilities. For these students, relocating or attending in-person classes during traditional hours, it's just simply not feasible. Second, we were discussing the importance of addressing geographic diversity among applicants. Online delivery allows institutions to serve students beyond regional boundaries, expanding access while also strengthening the diversity of the learning community. Third, there were important scalability considerations. Physical classroom space, laboratory scheduling, and faculty teaching loads naturally limit enrollment growth in traditional in-person programs. Online delivery offers a pathway to expand enrollment capacity while maintaining instructional quality, if it is designed correctly. Finally, there was an increasing competitive national landscape for graduate biomedical education. Many peer institutions have launched online or hybrid programs, and prospective students now expect flexible learning options. However, expanding online raises a critical question, and really this became the guiding question for our work. How do you scale a graduate program without sacrificing quality, accessibility, or student experience? Simply converting lectures to video is not sufficient. True online program expansion requires intentional instructional design, program level coordination, and infrastructure that supports both faculty and students. This question became the foundation for our course shell development process. Before any course design work began, the online track underwent a formal institutional approval process. This included program proposal development and multiple layers of governance approval. Faculty committees, graduate education leadership, and institutional academic leadership all played an important role in evaluating the academic integrity and feasibility of the online track. This process ensured that the online program maintained the same academic expectations, learning objectives, and degree requirements as an existing in-person program. Equally important was alignment to institutional strategic priorities. Expanding high-quality online graduate education was identified as an important goal. Technology infrastructure readiness was also a critical factor. Our institution has had an established learning management system, Canvas, along with instructional design support services and media production resources. However, having technology available does not automatically ensure quality course design. Technology must be paired with intentional pedagogical structure. This approval in a planning phase reinforced the initiative was not only an isolated experiment, it was a strategic institutional investment. This foundation allowed us to move forward with confidence, knowing that the program had both academic legitimacy and institutional support. As we began building courses for the online track, we quickly encountered what is perhaps most common challenges in online education: variability. When individual faculty build courses independently, even highly skilled and committed instructors naturally organize content differently. Navigation structures vary, assignment locations differ, and expectations may be communicated in inconsistent ways. From the student perspective, this creates cognitive overload. Instead of focusing on learning the content, students must first learn how to navigate each course. This repeated orientation process consumes time, increases frustration, and can negatively affect learning outcomes. Accessibility was another concern. Without a structured framework, accessibility practices, including captioning, document formatting, and consistent organization, can be applied unevenly. These challenges made it clear that leaving course structure entirely to individual variation would create inequities in the student experience. At the same time, we did not want to restrict faculty creativity or pedagogical autonomy. This led to an important guiding principle: we need structure, but not rigidity. This principle ultimately shaped the development of our standardized course shell template.
So our approach was grounded in evidence-based research and best practices in instructional design and online education. Our foundational framework for all program design is Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. UDL emphasizes providing multiple means of engagement, representation, and expression to support diverse learners. Rather than retrofitting accessibility, UDL encourages designing inclusively from the beginning. We also aligned our work with Quality Matters standards, which provide nationally recognized benchmarks for high quality online course design. These standards emphasize clarity, alignment of learning objectives, accessibility, and learner support. Cognitive load theory also played an important role, as was mentioned earlier. In online environments, students are processing both instructional content and interface navigation at the same time. When course structures vary widely, students expend cognitive effort simply figuring out where things are located in the course. Consistent course structure and chunking content like lectures and assignments, into shorter, more manageable pieces reduces cognitive load. Finally, accessibility, compliance, and usability best practices were integrated throughout the process. This included considerations such as captioned media, clear navigation hierarchies, and screen reader compatibility. Importantly, these frameworks influence structural and pedagogical decisions, not just visual design. The goal was not to create visually appealing courses, rather to create learning environments that were predictable, accessible, and pedagogically effective. These principles provide the foundation for the standardized course shell. One of our first online courses served as a prototype. This course was developed collaboratively between Dr. Mujica, who is here presenting with us today, the faculty member, and myself as the instructional designer. At this stage, the process was intentionally flexible. We wanted to explore possibilities and understand the practical realities of asynchronous course development. Dr. Mujica's course was already designed as more of a hybrid course with much of the content available online, including lectures. Dr. Mujica and I both agreed our goal was to develop the fully asynchronous course using a systematic instructional design approach to building a fully online course. This prototype phase was valuable because it revealed opportunities to streamline navigation and chunk content for microlearning. Questions emerged about optimal video length, objective-driven content, as well as opportunities for formative assessment, like quick knowledge checks of comprehension. Dr. Mujica also took this opportunity to make additional revisions to the course, such as revising some lecture learning objectives and creating short evaluations for students to be able to give him feedback about content with which they were still struggling and needed additional help. This initial prototype course allowed us to identify what worked and where additional structural changes would be beneficial. In many ways, this prototype phase made visible the invisible labor of online course design. It showed us that scalability would require shared infrastructure between courses rather than course development in silos, where individual courses vary within one program. We were set on the goal that the program would be consistent across all courses, vertically and horizontally. All of this collaboration and prototyping led to our decision to develop a standardized course shell template.
The development of our first online course was incredibly valuable, but it also revealed something important. Building individual courses successfully does not automatically translate into building a successful online program. During the prototype phase, we began holding regular program development meetings that brought together program leadership, instructional designers, and faculty involved in course development. These meetings were intentionally ongoing and consistent. They created space for open discussion about what was working, what challenges were emerging, and what adjustments were needed as we continued building the online track. Through these conversations, one theme became increasingly clear. While individual courses could be thoughtfully designed, the overall student experience across courses still had the potential to vary significantly. Without intentional coordination, each course might develop its own structure, navigation system, and communication style. At that point, the conversation shifted. Instead of focusing solely on designing individual courses, we began thinking more broadly about designing the program as an integrated learning environment. Leadership and instructional design teams worked together closely to explore how we could support faculty while also ensuring a consistent and accessible student experience across the entire curriculum. This ultimately led to a pivotal decision: to develop a standardized course shell template that could serve as a shared structural framework for all the courses in the online program. This moment represented a shift in mindset, from course level design to program level design. Rather than asking, how should this course be organized, we began asking, what should the student experience feel like across the entire program? This shift became foundational to the success of the online track.
Developing the standardized course shell was not the work of a single individual. It required a collaborative ecosystem. Faculty played a critical role as content experts. Their insights ensured that the template would support authentic disciplinary teaching rather than imposed artificial constraints. Instructional designers contributed expertise in online pedagogy, accessibility, and learning management system functionality. They translated pedagogical principles into practical course structures. Program leadership helped align the template with program level goals, student experience priorities, and institutional expectations. Technology support teams ensured that the technical infrastructure could support implementation. This work unfolded through ongoing meetings and an iterative process. Rather than designing the template in isolation, we developed it through continuous dialogue. This collaborative approach helped build trust and faculty buy-in. Faculty were not simply given a template, they were a part of shaping it. This is essential for long-term sustainability. A standardized course shell is best understood as a structured starting point with the learning management system. It is a pre-built course environment that includes consistent navigation, organizational structure, and embedded guidance. Importantly, it includes faculty-facing support such as instructional notes, accessibility reminders, and example structures to assist instructors during course development. Elements, by the way, that we're still brainstorming and still refining. The shell establishes predictable layout patterns so students know where they can find key elements across courses. However, it is critical to emphasize that the template is not a script. It does not dictate instructional content, assessment design, or teaching style. Instead, it provides a framework that supports faculty creativity while ensuring instructional consistency. This balance allows for both academic autonomy and program coherence.
One of the most important elements of our standardized course shell is the consistent weekly structure. This structure serves as the backbone of every course in this online program. Each instructional week begins with an overview page. This page introduces the topic, provides context for the week's learning, and clearly outlines expectations. Students can immediately understand what they will be learning and why it matters. Next, learning objectives are prominently displayed. These objectives help students focus their attention and provide a clear connection between course content, activities, and assessments. This transparency supports both student learning and instructional alignment. Following the overview and objectives, students move into the content modules. These modules include micro lectures, readings, multimedia resources, and external materials. Importantly, the organization of these materials follows the same pattern each week. Assignments and assessments are also located in predictable locations within each module. Students do not need to search through multiple menus or tabs to find what is required. Engagement opportunities such as discussions or applied learning activities are integrated within the weekly structure rather than separated into different parts of the course. This consistency significantly reduces cognitive load. Students can focus on learning the content rather than figuring out how the course is organized and where everything is. Over time, this predictability builds confidence and reduces anxiety, particularly for students who are new to online learning. Another key component of the standardized course shell is the consistent placement of essential course resources. In many online courses, students spend unnecessary time searching for basic information, such as the syllabus, assignment instructions, or grading criteria. This may seem like a minor inconvenience, but over time, it creates frustration and disrupts the learning experience. To address this, our template includes designated standardized locations for critical materials. The syllabus is placed in a clearly labeled, easily accessible location. Students always know exactly where to find course policies, expectations, and schedules. Rubrics and assessment descriptions will be embedded directly alongside assignments. This ensures that students understand evaluation criteria before they begin their work rather than encountering grade expectations after submission. Instructor contact information, office hours, and communication policies are also prominently displayed, reinforcing instructor presence and accessibility. This predictable placement eliminates guesswork. Students do not have to relearn how to navigate each course. They can rely on familiar patterns. This may seem like a small design decision, but it has a significant cumulative impact on student efficiency, clarity, and overall satisfaction. Consistency becomes a form of academic support. Asynchronous courses rely heavily on multimedia, particularly video-based instruction. However, creating effective instructional video requires intentional planning. One important recommendation is video chunking. Rather than recording a single 60-minute lecture or 3-hour lecture, faculty are encouraged to create shorter segments, typically between 5 and 15 minutes. Research shows that shorter videos improve attention, retention, and student engagement. The template also includes reminders about captioning and transcripts. Caption video is essential for accessibility, but it also benefits many learners, including those studying in noisy environments or those who prefer reading along with audio. Guidance on lecture length, organization, and presentation helps faculty create more effective asynchronous learning experiences. The course development process also includes accessibility prompts and reminders about alternative formats. For example, providing downloadable slides, transcripts, or written summaries can support diverse learning preferences, which goes back to using that universal design for learning approach. Importantly, this guidance is embedded directly within the course shell. Faculty encounter these supports during the development process rather than needing to search for external instructions. These are all embedded within the course shell in a different color font. This approach reduces uncertainty and promotes consistent quality across courses. It shifts accessibility and multimedia design from being optional enhancements to being integrated components of course development.
Accessibility was not treated as a secondary consideration. It was integrated into the template from the beginning. This includes captioning standards for all instructional videos, ensuring that all students can fully access course content. Consistent heading structures were also implemented. Proper heading hierarchies improve readability and allow screen readers to navigate course materials effectively. Screen reader compatibility was considered throughout the template design. This includes clear labeling, logical navigation structures, and accessible document formats. Clear file naming conventions were also standardized. This helps students quickly identify materials and improves usability for assistive technologies. Additionally, the template emphasizes reduced visual clutter. Clean layouts, consistent formatting, and intentional spacing improve usability for all students, not just those with documented disabilities. This approach reflects a proactive model of accessibility. Rather than waiting for accommodation requests and retroactively modifying courses, accessibility is built into the course structure from the outset. This benefits all learners and supports institutional commitments to inclusive education. Accessibility, in this context, becomes part of quality, not an add-on. The development of the course shell is an iterative process shaped by continuous feedback. Faculty who use the template during course development provide valuable insights. Many note that the template increased clarity and helped them understand how to structure their courses more effectively. For faculty who are new to online teaching, the template reduced uncertainty. Rather than facing a blank course site, they began with a structured foundation. Based on feedback, we made adjustments to improve clarity, refine instructional guidance, and streamline navigation. One significant outcome was improved efficiency. Course development timelines became shorter because faculty no longer needed to design structural elements from scratch. Faculty also reported greater confidence in the quality and accessibility of their courses. This iterative refinement process reinforced that the template is not static. It is a living framework that continues to evolve in response to faculty and student needs. Continuous improvement remains an essential part of the implementation process. One of the most important and sometimes overlooked functions of the course shell is the faculty support layer. In addition to student-facing structure, this template includes embedded instructor guidance designed to support course development. This approach reduces development burden and promotes confidence. Rather than requiring faculty to interpret abstract instructional design principles, this template translates those principles into concrete, actionable structures. Importantly, this support layer also promotes consistency across courses, which strengthens the overall identity of the program. As we continue to expand the online program, enhancing faculty support remains an ongoing area of growth and refinement. Supporting instructors is essential to supporting students.
As the program continued to develop, It became clear that the standardized course shell was not just a design tool. It was an infrastructure that supported both scalability and long-term sustainability. One of the most important advantages is that the template is replicable across courses. Once the structure is established, it can be implemented consistently throughout the curriculum. This allows the program to expand while maintaining a cohesive student experience. The template also plays a significant role in supporting faculty onboarding in the course development process. When new instructors join the program, they are not starting from a blank course site. Instead, they begin with a structured framework that clearly outlines how content, activities, and assessments can be organized. This dramatically reduces the learning curve for faculty who may be new to online teaching. Another benefit is the reduction of instructional design bottlenecks. Instructional designers are invaluable partners in online course development, but their time and availability are limited. By embedding key design principles into the template, we can support more courses without requiring the same level of individualized design support for every build. Finally, the template helps reinforce program identity. Even though each course is taught by different instructors and focuses on different subject matter, the consistent structure creates a recognizable learning environment for students. Students come to understand how the program works, where to find information, and what to expect each week. In many ways, this brings us back to the title of our presentation, Designing for Scale and Success. Thoughtful structure allows programs to grow while preserving clarity, quality, and student support.
For institutions interested in implementing a similar approach, there are several key steps that emerge from our experience. The first step is to begin with a pilot course. This allows institutions to identify practical challenges and understand faculty and student needs before attempting large-scale implementation. Second, document pain points throughout the pilot process. These observations provide critical insight into where structure and support are most needed. Third, convene a collaborative team that includes faculty, instructional designers, and program leadership. Successful implementation requires multiple perspectives. Fourth, develop guiding principles based on research, accessibility standards, and institutional priorities. These principles help ensure that the template supports both pedagogy and usability. Fifth, build and test the template within the learning management system. Pilot testing allows institutions to refine the structure before broad rollout. Finally, refine the template before scaling. Iteration ensures that the template is both effective and sustainable. This process does not require starting from scratch, but it does require intentional planning and collaboration. A standardized template becomes a foundational infrastructure that supports long-term program growth. Scalable online education requires more than technology. It requires intentional design. Through this case study, we identified several key design elements that support scalability. First, consistent structure improves student navigation and reduces cognitive load. Second, faculty guidance reduces course development burden and promotes instructional quality. Third, accessibility must be integrated from the beginning, not added later. Fourth, collaborative development ensures that templates are both pedagogically sound and practically usable. Ultimately, standardized course shells help create predictable, equitable learning environments. They allow institutions to expand online programs while maintaining academic rigor and student support. Most importantly, this work shifts course design from an individual responsibility to a shared program level strategy. Structure, when implemented thoughtfully, becomes a tool for student success, faculty support, and sustainable program growth.
While standardized course shells offer many advantages, there are also several potential pitfalls that institutions should be mindful of when developing their own templates. One common challenge is over-designing the template. It can be tempting to include too many features, tools, or complex structures. However, overly complicated templates can become difficult for faculty to use and maintain. Simplicity and clarity are often more effective than complexity. Another risk is making the template too rigid. While consistency is important, faculty must still have the flexibility to design meaningful learning experiences that align with their teaching style and disciplinary approaches. The template should guide structure without limiting creativity. Ignoring faculty voice is another potential obstacle. Faculty engagement is critical to successful implementation. When instructors feel excluded from the design process, they may be less likely to adopt the template or may attempt to work around it. Including faculty perspectives during development helps build trust and ownership. Failing to embed accessibility from the start is also a significant mistake. Retrofitting accessibility later is far more time-consuming and often less effective than designing with accessibility in mind from the beginning. By anticipating these challenges, institutions can develop templates that are both effective and sustainable. As we conclude, I would like to return to a central theme that has guided this work: the importance of intentional structure in online program design. When course environments are thoughtfully organized, students spend less time navigating and more time learning. This reduction in cognitive load allows students to focus their energy on engaging with course content and developing a deeper understanding. Intentional structure also enhances accessibility. When navigation patterns are consistent, materials are clearly organized, and multimedia content follows accessibility standards, learning environments become more inclusive for a wider range of students. Another important outcome is increased student confidence. When students know where to find materials, how weekly modules are organized, and what expectations exist, they feel more secure navigating the environment. Over time, this consistency helps create a predictable academic identity for the program. Students recognize patterns, develop routines, and understand how courses are structured across the curriculum. We think of this as a soft skill for the program. We don't say that it's there, but everyone can see it, and it's important to be recognized for it. Finally, intentional structure supports faculty as well. By providing a shared framework, we reduce development burden, streamline course builds, and support instructors who may be new to online teaching. Ultimately, standardized course shells are not about limiting creativity. They are about creating strong foundations. When those foundations are thoughtfully designed, they support student success, faculty engagement, and sustainable program growth. Thank you for your time and for engaging in this conversation about designing scalable and effective asynchronous learning environments.